Welcome back into KSU Nation, the best K-State podcast and YouTube out there. I'm Stevie B.
And I'm Kenny G.
And in today's episode, we're going to be breaking down K-State's 24-19 loss at Houston. Before we do that, though, Kenny, let them know what's going on with the subscribe button. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either. Let's take a look here. We are 203 subscribers away from hitting our goal. And we appreciate all that have actually taken that really strenuous and tough road to get to the subscribe button to actually click it. We know how hard it is for you guys out there to do that. It's really difficult. Apparently, we've got thousands and thousands of views, but only 700 and some odd subscribers, almost 800. And we just need to get a couple hundred more. And I believe in you guys. It's just right there underneath the video. And I don't know if it's a red button anymore, but it says the word subscribe, and all you got to do is just click it. But yeah, with that being said, I mean, we are, even with us having this subscribe button issue, we are still the fastest growing K-State YouTube channel out there. And that's all thanks to you guys spreading the word, liking, and, telling your friends and stuff like that. It's really been cool to watch this channel grow. And we definitely appreciate you guys for helping us out. It's been really fun to watch it grow as we go week in, week out. So
absolutely. And we got, like you said, about 50,000 views just in the last 4 weeks, which is amazing for a channel without, 1,000 subs. And we appreciate that. So, if you're a K-State fan, Big 12 fan, any of that, this channel is for you. In today's episode, we're breaking down K-State's loss to Houston, along with looking around the Big 12 for week 10. We are going to save our Big 12 power rankings for Tuesday's show. Because K-State does not have a game this next weekend. We felt like it was best to save that for Tuesday, along with picking next weekend's games as well. So, Kenny, I got to watch the whole game. You got to watch parts of the game. I just want to throw a couple stats out there, and then I want to go to you with whatever you're thinking here, okay?
All right.
So, K-State has not scored a touchdown on 15 consecutive second half drives. 15. And that is after K-State scored a touchdown on the first drive of the second half against KU. Since then, 15 drives in the second half, 0 touchdowns. Over that time, K-State has 3 turnovers on offense. So, and also, when we look at this game this past weekend, outside of a 2-minute stretch at the very end of the first half, K-State did nothing. I mean, they literally got outplayed for 58 minutes of that game. It's an insanely frustrating game. I don't know what else to say other than, like, K-State deserved to lose that game. And I honestly felt like 2 weeks in a row K-State deserved to lose. Thankfully, K-State beat KU. But really, this team has not played well since winning at West Virginia a couple weeks ago. Their mind has not been right. The coaches have not been good. I mean, Houston was 2-0 when holding opponents to under 100 rushing yards. K-State had 89. So the offensive line, the offensive play calling, everything has been horrendous for a little bit here, honestly, and it was on full display against Houston. This is one of Chris Kleiman's worst losses of his career at K-State. Insanely frustrating on all parts. Probably the worst Big 12 loss he's ever had. So with that said, Kenny, what did you think of the game?
All right. So I'm just going to lead with this. If you've got kids around, you might want to either mute this section or have them leave the room, because if they can hear this,
your phone's going off.
I'm about to go in, and I'm about to go in hard on this segment here, because you're right, Steve. I didn't watch this game. I was listening to it on the radio. I was going to my family's chili crawl. My family has a business out in a little town called Leonardville. It's where Jordy Nelson actually is from, his whole family. And my parents, they own a business out there, a auto repair shop, and they host this chili crawl. And so to show support to my family, they asked if I would come and try a bunch of chili and all this stuff. So um, I went to that, and on my way there, and of course, it was during the K-State game. Right in the middle of the game is where all this was going on. So I was listening to it on the way out there on the radio, on AM radio, and I was just fuming. I wanted to throw something the entire drive up there. And then a lot of the businesses that we went to get the chili, they had the game on, and I was just like eating the chili, watching the game, cursing, and it wasn't pretty. So let's just start with this. This is an embarrassment to the entire KSU nation. This is a scandal. This is literally a disgrace to the entire fan base. This is Houston. Houston. Last year, we absolutely wiped the floor with them. This year, they have a brand new head coach. I get it. He's great. But do not tell me. You know what's really frustrating, Steve, is when I have these players on their interviews and coaches saying that they're comparable to K-State. Are you kidding me? They didn't score for 2 freaking games in a row, and they're comparable to us. That's disgraceful to even say. What a slap in the face. That's our expectation. That's the expectation, is that we're comparable to a team that can't score a touchdown in 2 games. Absolutely not. That is piss poor accountability for the freaking coaching staff. Another thing that bothers me, the coaches constantly say for the last 2 weeks now, they've been saying, oh, it's the technique that's been off. It's our fundamentals. Well, whose job is it to coach the fundamentals? Whose job is it to teach them the techniques? It sure isn't them. That's why they come to K-State, so that they can learn this from the coaching staff. I am so sick and tired of the excuses, Steve. There's no excuse. We lost to a bad team. I don't want to hear that Houston's a good team. That is bull crap. You're full of shit if you think that Houston's a good team. They're not. They were one of the worst, if not the worst team of scoring offense in the entire country. The entire country. And they beat us. I don't want to hear it was rainy. I don't want to hear that because the other team had to deal with that. I don't want to hear the excuses. We are playing like absolute shit. Absolute crap, dude. I hate it. It drives me insane. We are way better than this. We showed up flat. We showed up like we didn't want to be there. This is insane, dude. This is insane. We're supposed to, if you even like, oh my God, dude. I'm trying to hold it together. I'm trying to get my mind right and get my thoughts correctly. If we would have won close, I would have had a humongous issue with this game. This was the game that we were supposed to show that we can be dominant, that we belonged in the conversation as one of the best in the country, that we belonged in the conversation as a playoff. That's out the window now. That is completely gone. That my confidence in them in actually being a good football team is completely out the window. They're not a good football team anymore. They're not. They just proved it to me. You lost to one of the worst, if not the worst team in the Big 12. They have a good coach. Props to the good coach, but he is not the coach of a Tulane team with a great quarterback. He's the coach of a Houston team that is literally in the building process. We're not in the building process. We're in Big 12 contention process. That's what we're at. And we're playing like absolute dog shit. I hate it, dude. I freaking hate it. I'm sorry, Steve. It blows my mind.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, let me pull this up because this is the team that K-State lost to. This is the team K-State lost to. 133rd scoring offense in the country. Last. 133rd red zone offense. Last. I mean, yes, we knew they had a good defense, but my God, dude. This is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. This is the second time that Chris Kleiman has lost to Willie Fritz as a 2-touchdown favorite. K-State was projected to win by 2 touchdowns here. 87% of the time, K-State wins that game. Look at all this blue, dark blue for K-State and all the red for Houston. And somehow K-State lost this game. Absolutely terrible. Terrible. Let's pull up the stats here, man.
While you do that, I want to say something. I want to continue just a little bit more. What the hell happened to our freaking rush offense? What in the absolute hell happened to our rush offense? It's either one of two things. Either that Colorado game was that was our Super Bowl and that was it for our rush offense, or West Virginia actually exposed us and figured out how to beat us on the ground. And then KU just copy and pasted what West Virginia figured out. Now, West Virginia couldn't handle the passing game, but did West Virginia just write the playbook for how to beat us on the ground? Because we haven't done shit on the ground since Colorado. I mean, I don't want to blame DJ because there's nothing he could do. Our offensive line got their asses handed to them. They played horrible. They lost in the trenches. They completely got their asses handed. I'm so frustrated, Steve. This is insane. Like, there was no heart. Offense did not show up at all. Defense, it's always the common thing. Defense travels. They played okay. You can't do it all. But I mean, when you go against the only criticism I have against the defense is that they were the worst offensive team in the country. One of the worst offense. They didn't score a single point in 2 weeks.
They lost by 4 touchdowns to KU. 4 touchdowns to KU.
I don't know what to say, man. I'm just disappointed, man. I'm disappointed in this team. I'm honestly like I don't want to say that I've completely given up because even there's a chance that we can make the Big 12 and then
there is and I'll talk about that. There is a chance.
But that's stupid though, dude. Like that seems like you're just like hopefully like it's the thing is that the biggest problem about this last weekend is K-State lost their the ability of having their fate in their own hands. It's not in their own hands anymore.
Nope.
They don't dictate whether they go to the championship game anymore. It's completely out the window for them. And now they have to like hope and pray that other things happen. And there was a guy that was on here earlier who was saying, Colorado Buffaloes, now their fate is in their hands.
It is. But I mean,
it's the Big 12 and things can happen. But you know what?
This conference is a gauntlet, dude. It really
blackout,
is.
Bro. If Colorado stays the course and they win, then that's amazing. Like congratulations for you guys having a great year. BYU, congratulations for you guys having a great year. You guys actually didn't lose to Houston. I mean, that's embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is the most embarrassing loss. If you would have said like losing to KU would have been really hard to swallow, it would have been really, really bad. But like KU was at least projected to be a great team. They didn't have games where they didn't score for 2 weeks in a row. Houston did. Like Houston was a team. They didn't know how to throw the football. And all of a sudden, their freaking quarterback goes 11-11. Oh my God, dude. Ugh. I can't believe it, dude. I cannot. It drives me insane. Like we literally that wasn't K-State that showed up. That was a bunch of guys wearing K-State uniforms. K-State was not at that game. They were not. The K-State players weren't there. And I don't want to hear, oh, they're a tough team. They got some good players. I don't want to hear it. No, there's no accountability for the K-State players. They literally just say, well, they were a tough team. And, we didn't come out and do our job. And it's like, no, you didn't even show up. You didn't even show up, man. It's insane.
No,
it's insane. And it's not like I'm melting down. I'm not melting down. Like I'm just expressing my frustration.
You can be mad. I mean, we have said some bad things and bad words, but how could you not after that game? How could you not? Having said that,
it's unacceptable. It is completely unacceptable for this
yes,
coaching staff to walk
in year 6, you cannot be losing this game in year 6.
In year 6 and in week 10. We're in week 10 and we're calling plays that it seems that at this point, everybody knows what's coming. Everybody knows what's coming. We have no creativity on the football field. We offensively, we're flat. We're completely exposed. West Virginia and KU, they basically gave the entire playbook of how to beat K-State, and now every team just needs to copy.
Colorado's not winning the rest of their games. They're not winning the rest of their games. Okay, I want to show this really quickly because
that's it.
What's up?
Really quick, Steve. After this, you won't have any more problems with me. Like I've basically accepted the fact that my confidence and my faith in this team has completely gone out the window. Now, anytime they win, it's like, oh, okay, that's great. Because my expectations for this team were to beat Houston by like 4 touchdowns. That's what I thought they were capable of. Clearly not.
They were.
And well, not by last night's performance. I was like, at the very least, I'm hoping to get a win by like 1 point even. I would have taken that at that point because we played absolutely horrendous. And the thing is that now that we've lost to one of the worst teams in the conference, I cannot expect K-State to win any more games. I want them to win more games. I'll probably call them to win more games because the next 2 games are going to be at home and we have a great record at home. But I'm not calling K-State to win any more away games. Not a chance. I'm like, unless something happens, unless for whatever reason they found the other pages of the playbook over, during the bye week, like they've literally just had the front page of the playbook. They haven't turned the page. If they somehow managed to turn the page on the playbook and see, oh, here's all of our other plays that we forgot to run, then maybe I'll pick them to win. But I don't think I'm not picking them to win on away games. I'm just not. When they play against Iowa State, I'm picking Iowa State to win at this point.
I wouldn't argue with that. Having said all the negative things we have, there is still a path for K-State to the Big 12 championship game.
Go ahead, Steve. Tell them.
Well, I'm trying to pull it up. Is it not letting me? I click screen share and it's not letting me. Hold on. Well, let me just pull it up here. So essentially, K-State basically needs, obviously Colorado to lose at least one time, right? And then this is what would, in case it would have to win out. So in that scenario, BYU would go 9-0 in the Big 12. K-State would get the second slot in the Big 12 championship game, having tiebreakers over obviously Iowa State and Colorado having beaten them. And then they would have it over Texas Tech based off of the win percentage of their opponents. So K-State only needs Colorado to lose one game, and then K-State obviously has to win their next 3. So that is how K-State still gets to Arlington. Having said that, I don't see it happening. I do not see it happening. This is another 8 or 9 win season, as it has been for the last couple of years. K-State's not winning the Big 12 this year, playing the way that they are. They're just not. Let's take a look at these stats from yesterday.
There was a glimmer of hope, for I want to say the first like 3 or 4 weeks. I had been saying like, K-State's year is the year 2025. That's the K-State year that's really going to matter because we've got, Avery Johnson.
Everyone's coming back.
Everyone's coming back. Avery Johnson is going to be, in his second year as a starter. He'll really have settled in and worked out the kinks of his first year as a, starter. And so we were really just kind of like, okay, whatever happens this year, at least, let's make it competitive. At least let's be competitive. And then all of a sudden we started winning a lot of games. And we're like, oh, hold on a second. We've only lost 1 game in the first 9 weeks. Dang, dude, we're actually like, that hasn't happened since 2014. Like maybe K-State can actually be this. It could be 2024 as the year of K-State. But what did they go ahead and do? They went ahead and lost to the worst team in the conference. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Here's the
And
stats.
it just goes to show you can't. What did I say, Steve? We cannot overlook this team. And
I
I
said it was a
said
trap game.
we need to have a full game of start to finish freaking domination. And we have still to this day not had a full game of start to finish domination. We haven't had
I
a
agree.
clean game. This was the only game on our schedule where we could have demonstrated that we were a cut above the rest of the Big 12, other than like BYU, of course, and Iowa State and whatever. The top four, right? The top four were solidified. And then this was the game that was supposed to say, okay, this is why K-State is amongst the top four, because we were going to dominate Houston from start to finish. And not only did we not dominate, but we actually lost the freaking game.
So let's take a look at these stats as Colorado fans were taking a victory lap, as they should. I mean, I would too if I was a Colorado fan.
No,
Honestly.
You're welcome in. Go ahead. Lay it on thick, please.
Honestly,
I want it.
Kate, we deserve it at this point.
I want it.
Avery Johnson threw the ball 39 times. 39 times in the rain, we threw the ball. Now, obviously, K-State could not run the ball very well, but still, that is too many. And that's 2 consecutive games. He's had a QBR under 50. He's had 3 turnovers the last 2 games. He did have a touchdown pass, but the opening drive, I honestly felt like was probably the difference in the game. K-State comes down looking pretty good the whole drive. Get inside the 10-yard line. K-State runs the ball, gets 6 yards and first down. Next 2 plays, incomplete. And then that third down, there was a tight end wide open, or he could have literally walked into the end zone. There was no one there. Instead, he threw it to Jace Brown, Brown looked like he had no idea where the end zone was. No idea. Like he was completely out of bounds. I have no idea what was going on there. 238 passing yards. Running the ball, this is where it's frustrating. K-State ran the ball 33 times for 99 yards. That is horrendous. The offensive line gets an F grade for this game. Absolutely despicable. We try to get Dylan Edwards the ball more. 8 carries and how many catches? 2. So he had 10 touches, and K-State only scored 19 points. Horrible. Jace Brown did have 3 catches for 86 yards, including that 61-yard bomb. But the very next play, what happens? K-State gets a block in the back, and that sets K-State back 10 yards, and they can't score a touchdown. Like, that block in the back by Keegan Johnson killed that drive. You cannot have penalties on scoring drives, specifically on first down. That kills an entire drive. I did like seeing Keegan Johnson being involved more, specifically in the pass game. I like the 2-minute drill that K-State ran at the very end of the first half. But as I said it earlier, K-State got dominated for 58 minutes. Outside of that 2-minute span right before halftime, K-State's offense did nothing the entire game, which is insanely frustrating, Kenny.
I don't know what you want me to where you want me to go from here. I mean, it's completely embarrassing. Actually, can you just pull up the team stats really fast?
Yes, I can.
This is the most insane thing. The most insane thing to witness. Oh wait. Yeah. Something like, yeah, there you go. 21 first downs to 10 first downs. Total yards, 337 to 234. We literally over 100 yards more than they did. What was
the difference in the game? Was that interception when K-State was up 19 to 10 with about 10 to 12 minutes left in the game. Why is K-State throwing the ball there? Why would you not just run it and milk clock? K-State's defense allowed less than 250 yards.
Yes, your defense was actually doing well. Just the run wasn't there. Well, who cares? And you didn't want to punt into the wind. Your defense was doing well. What you can't do is you can't have turnovers. This was a disgrace for the coaching staff, dude. This was not. And also, if you're not willing to punt into the wind, why are you willing to throw into the wind? I mean, I don't get it.
Seriously.
Like if you're
in
not
the rain as well.
That made like logically that was cognitive dissonance right there. Like, oh, we didn't want to punt in the wind, so you threw it in the wind. Makes no sense. The whole
Literally
thing,
makes
dude.
no sense.
This is literally a scandal. Like, I hate this, dude. This is so dumb. It's just so dumb. Like, we had the ball longer than they did. Whatever, man. Like this was not Houston being a good team. This was K-State playing like absolute garbage. This is K-State just playing like garbage.
Can we talk about the defense allowing the worst passing offense in the country to complete 12 of 12 passes?
Yeah, let's go ahead and explain that. Square that circle, Steve, because I don't get that either.
That's embarrassing.
This team is almost, if not just as bad as UCF as throwing a forward pass, and we allowed 100% completion. That is insane. They also had to play in the freaking rain. Hello. It wasn't like we were the only ones playing in the rain. They were also playing in the rain. What is happening? Why is it? This reminds me of when we played against Iowa State last year. It's like the other team seemed to just have no issues running in the snow, but K-State was like slipping and sliding all over the place, and we had no way of standing up. Like, it's just so crazy. It's like, how are the other teams able to pull this off? But K-State, for whatever reason, whenever the weather is not perfect or whatever, we don't know what to do. We're like, oh man, it's not like I don't get it, dude. I'm so confused.
K-State allowed 123 rushing yards, but the difference was that 41-yard touchdown run with like 4 minutes left in the game. I mean, I don't know what happened on that play. It looked like we blitzed, and that's why there was no one there. But my goodness, dude. I mean, you stopped the run all game, and then you gave up the game-winning touchdown run.
Yeah, I mean,
only forced one turnover the entire game with that rain. That is just as bad. The defense was not good. I mean, the defense was okay, but like you can't give up 12 of 12 passing and then the game-winning touchdown run of 4 minutes left when you had the lead. You just can't, right? Yeah. And I know that, there was a turnover that K-State had, the interception. That doesn't mean that we just automatically let them score a touchdown. There's got to be better defense to stop them in the red zone. I mean, they were the worst red zone offense in the country. Jordan Riley, I don't know what he's doing. He's missing tackles left and right. He cannot play the ball. I have no idea what Keenan Garber is doing. No idea. Like, I don't think he should play the rest of the season. I'd play Justice James instead. Literally, Garber has no idea what he's doing on defense.
Let's answer some of these. Let's answer some of these comments here. Let's see. Let's go right to here. This is where we left off. I'm not putting my hard-earned money on Colorado taking another loss. Well, I mean, I might at this point.
I'm gonna pull up their schedule really quick.
I might put money on Colorado winning out.
They play at Texas Tech. They host.
That's gonna be tough.
At KU, hosting Oklahoma State. I think that they'll take one loss.
They could. I mean, it also, listen, one thing that people never talk about, which it happens all the time, is injuries, and injuries can happen at any moment. So, and that's what scares me about Colorado, is that when it comes to injuries, I'm not sure how big the depth is in that program, because they got a lot of stars, to start their team, their football team. So the depth is kind of, I'm uncertain about it, but as far as their star power, they can win all 4 of those games. They could.
They definitely could.
So now another question: where do you rank KSU in the Big 12 after this week? We will go over our power rankings on Tuesday. At 4:30, 4:30 p.m. of course, in Central Time. But we will let you know. Let's just say they're not in the top.
They're not number 1,
or top 3, or they're definitely not number 1. There's only one team that is for sure number 1. How TF is KSU now at the mercy of what Colorado does? Well, because we
got
beat
2 conference
Colorado.
losses, and Colorado has 1.
Two conference losses, and Colorado only has 1 conference loss, and that's how the cookie crumbles.
Yep.
If I mean, that's what conference record is. K-State is behind Colorado. Okay, so they basically answered that. This right here. What are your thoughts on this, Steve? Because I don't think so, but go ahead.
He's not transferring.
Yeah,
He's
his
not.
family lives here. I
His
don't think
family
people
lives here. He's
realize.
only going to be a K-State Wildcat. I mean, if anything, this is only going to make him better, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked great against West Virginia. Like, he's been hurt since the Colorado game, and you can tell when he runs the ball, he does not want to get hit. And that is really a big deal for our offense. Like, if he is not a threat to run the ball, specifically trying to get those extra yards, I mean, that is a big difference in our offense. Huge difference in our offense.
Right. Let's take a look here. There. A lot of people are just going over the different bowl games that could be. Hey, what if we just end up going to the Pop-Tarts Bowl again? At least there we can actually win. Can K-State decline their bowl invite? Not sure they deserve to thump a ACC mid-tier.
Yeah, an AAC team. Yeah, the American Athletic Conference. Yeah.
We could end up playing against an undefeated AAC team because SMU did beat Pitt.
Oh, there you go.
And there is a chance that now, because there's 3 undefeated teams and they don't play each other, there's going to be an undefeated team that does not go to the AAC or whatever.
ACC. Yeah, the ACC. There's only 2 undefeated teams left in the ACC, Miami and SMU.
But oh yeah, that's right. Clemson lost. Never mind.
Clemson lost.
Never mind.
So those 2 teams will probably play each other
in the conference championship. Yeah. If Clemson didn't lose, then there would have been a chance where 3 undefeated teams were going to finish the season in conference play, but Clemson lost. So I don't know why we're talking about it, but it's just that could have been a chance where in a bowl game, there could have been an undefeated ACC team.
By the way, I actually think that Miami is a fraud as well. I mean, they're scoring lots of points. This is completely off topic.
In the back half, yeah.
But they're allowing so many points, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, in their wins, they gave up 34, 38, 45, 14, and 31. So they're giving up lots of points.
Yep. Brooklyn boy. Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean. Everything that K-State is receiving in terms of just people dogpiling on them, they deserve every ounce of it. I'm welcoming all the trash talk, all the trolling. You guys completely just go ahead and dogpile on it because K-State deserves every serving of this trash that we're getting, because you don't just go into a team where they didn't even have their stands were not full at all.
No.
Fans were
15% full.
Yeah. There was no one there. And K-State goes in there. You can't say that the crowd was, a contributing factor to K-State's offense. That is what I'm talking about. It wasn't a tough environment. It was just raining. And guess what? The other team had to also play in the rain. This is literally what I'm talking about. Like you can't sit there and say like K-State's one of the best teams in the Big 12, or if not the best team in the Big 12 based off of this and that or whatever. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. They just lost to one of the worst teams in the Big 12. So there you have it. I mean, K-State was giving reasons and excuses as to why, KU, well, yeah, they're the in-state rival, and like they were just really up for that game, and they had the bye week, and they were just, or whatever. I don't actually, they didn't have the bye week that week, but they were just like, yeah, like KU, like they just really wanted to beat K-State, and they just wanted to spend all their time like focusing on K-State and this and that. In fact, oh yeah, they had the bye week before Houston, and it was like they probably spent the whole time during their bye week not even really preparing for Houston, but preparing for K-State. But you can make all those excuses and be like, yeah, okay, I see that. KU, K-State, it's a big game, big rivalry. What's the reason for why K-State lost Houston? Like, was Houston like, yeah, we got to beat K-State?
K-State came out flat. K-State thought they could just show up and win. 100%. Exactly. That is exactly it. Coaches, players alike. I mean, literally everyone thought K-State could just show up and win.
Steve, the thing that a lot of K-State fans are saying about Connor Riley is that he is calling plays that are too conservative. What are your thoughts on that, Steve?
I wouldn't say they're too conservative. I would just say they're too predictable. Like when K-State lines up in certain formations and does certain shifts or motions, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen. Like I can call the plays from my couch. I've seen it enough to know what's going to happen. And if I can see it, so can the other team. Mix it up, be more creative. But really, it comes also down to execution. The offensive line has done nothing for weeks. I mean, literally nothing. They've done okay pass protection, but in terms of running the ball, K-State can't run the ball. And if you can't run the ball, you cannot win. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think we're utilizing the players the way that they ought to be utilized. And that's been a criticism all year for them. We've constantly been critiquing the coaches on why, like, the players that they have, they like for how many weeks now have you talked about Dante Cephas and Jordan Riley, and how we've literally got two players that we wasted transfers on that haven't done anything good for us. Not one good thing for us.
No.
And it's frustrating, Also, yeah, there was a moment in there, again, it's slippery out, but there was a moment where we didn't even get a field goal because there was a mess up on the hold. Do you remember that part of the game?
I mean, this is a whole so that happened twice, not just once. It happened twice. Yeah. Another time K-State could have kicked a field goal. They tried to. I don't know why. And if I even said it pregame, did I not say it pregame? I said field goals are not going to be very optimistic in that weather. I literally said it.
And what did we do the very first drive? It's
literally like when you have. I mean, K-State switched up snappers because there were so many issues. And honestly, yes, the snaps were not good. The holders just got to grab the ball and get it ready. It's just as bad on the holder as it is the snapper. But yes, I mean, that is 4 points K-State could have had, and K-State lost by 5. So I don't know. I also felt like K-State should have went for 2 when they were down 10-9, and then they scored a touchdown right before half, and they opt to just kick the extra point instead of going for 2 to go up 17-10. I don't get that at all either, honestly. Yeah. I really don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, offense, defense, special teams. This was a coaching staff, penalties. Yeah, I know.
It's amazing, right?
If you're a KU fan, Colorado fan, a fan of any other team other than K-State, take your victory lap now because K-State.
This is it. I mean, like, I'm probably not gonna call for K-State to lose, but I'm not going to expect them to win convincingly anymore. I can't. Nope. I cannot. Nope. It's like K-State. It's not K-State. It's not Cats by 90. It's Cats by 3. Cats by 10.
By 1.
Yeah, Cats by 1. There's no definite dominating game anymore. That's way out the window. If it happens, that's great. But even if it happens the next week, I'm not gonna be like, oh well, the Cats are showing to be dominant now. Like you have to do a lot to gain my trust back because you just lost a whole lot of trust from me. You lost almost all of it. Like, yep. I mean, we're still, we're still 7-2, but we're going to a bowl game, yippee, but that's not our aspirations. Our aspirations weren't to start this season just getting to a bowl game. Our aspirations were to be amongst the top teams in the conference and to be going for a Big 12 championship game. If we didn't get it, that's because we were just straight up outplayed by better teams. Don't tell me Houston's a better team. I don't want to hear it. That is bull crap, and you're lying to yourself. K-State
favored by 14 for a reason.
Yeah, they're ranked 14th. Everybody, and they're one of the worst offenses in the country. Don't tell me they're a good team. K-State lost to a bad football team.
I want to talk about this really quick, and then we can look around the Big 12. Avery has to cut down the turnovers. I don't think it's being talked about enough. What do you think?
No, we've addressed this already. It's partly him, but why is he throwing the ball? We said this earlier in the show. The coaches were saying, well, we couldn't run it because it wasn't there, and we weren't going to punt the ball because we were having a punt in the rain, a punt into the wind. It's like, well, if you're not willing to punt into the wind, then why are you willing to throw it into the wind? It doesn't make any sense at all with what you're saying. The logic isn't there. I feel like they're just making excuses, man. I hate coaches that make excuses. Kleiman did say that, like, we just didn't play very well, and the technique and this and that. It's like, you're telling on yourself. You're telling on yourself. Oh, our technique and our fundamentals aren't there. Well, whose job is it to make sure that the fundamentals and the technique is there? It's definitely not up to the players to just know how to do this. You're supposed to coach them. And if you're not coaching them on fundamentals, this is a problem. This is a big problem. This is the second week they've blamed fundamentals and technique. The second week in a row. Thank God we have a bye week. Thank God.
Yeah, seriously, K-State can think about that loss for 2 weeks, and hopefully that turns them around. I really, really, really hate that K-State has to lose a game for the team to refocus. It's happened twice now. K-State's shown up and looked completely disinterested. Every single year, Chris Kleiman's team has a game where they look like they've never played football in their entire lives. And yet this season, it was Houston.
That's what I'm saying. This team literally does it. It's unrecognizable. That's
literally every single year. Every year.
It's so crazy. How is it that? Oh my, yeah, all right. And what was it last year? It was the Oklahoma State game last year, right?
Yes, and I want to talk about this really quickly more. He has 7 interceptions and 1 fumble, essentially 1 turnover per game. That's too much. I mean, I understand he's a young guy. He just turned 20 on game day, which is probably not going to be his most fun birthday ever.
What a way to celebrate your birthday with a freaking L.
The talent is there, obviously. The talent is completely there. He's running it, after the game as well, which is a very stand-up guy of him. He's just got to play better. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than he has to play better. I mean, the time is now for K-State to win, and you cannot be playing. You can't have 8 turnovers in 9 games. You just can't. Okay.
What is going on in the chat, Steve? What are they talking about with McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell?
He bet $3 on Houston to win money line in the third quarter, and he turned it into $24. So I called him broke. He said, I just ordered lunch with that money. And I said, you went from Taco Bell to Chili's. And he said, no, I went from McDonald's to Chick-fil-A. I'm balling, LOL.
I got the milkshake, bro. I had enough money for the. No, it's like, you know what they used to say, Steve, whenever you were balling out, it's like, I went to Chipotle and I got the guac. I got the guac.
There you go.
I got extra guac. I went double meat and got the guac. Like, whoa, dude, you are balling out. That's a $30 burrito right there.
All right, let's take a look around the Big 12 for Week 10 and recap it here.
Okay, Steve.
The game of the weekend, regardless of what happened in the K-State game, we're going to get to that. Iowa State takes a home loss to Texas Tech, 23-22. Texas Tech was coming off of giving up 60. I mean, essentially 59 to Baylor the week or two before. And Iowa State stumbles. Now, it honestly feels like Iowa State was due for a loss. I mean, you've been saying it for a while. They've not been playing well. ball. And then again, it's one of those teams like Texas Tech that responded well after a loss, which is what you want to see from your team. And they're still in the Big 12 title hunt as well. They only have 2 conference losses. They had a game-winning drive with less than 2 minutes to play. Taj Brooks is an animal at running back. This was a great game. I plan to go back and watch the highlights of it, but man, shout out to Texas Tech for getting a top 15 win at Iowa State. This really changes things up. It really makes you think about what's going to happen the rest of the way in the Big 12, man. Every game matters for sure.
People were giving me a lot of crap for saying that Iowa State was on fraud alert. This is why. This is why. How do you lose at home to Texas Tech? Man, I don't get it, man. What is going on with these teams? Like this should not happen. But you know what? Props to Texas Tech. Yes, they do have Taj Brooks, really good. Iowa State, their good defense is their passing defense. I said this before. Their rush defense is sus, and it showed. And that kind of brings me to, like, Iowa State's got interesting games now. I mean, they got to go against KU. KU had a bye week this week. They're going to be preparing against Iowa State, that's for sure. And they just got a gold mine of film to watch with this Texas Tech game. So they're definitely going to be up for this, and it'll be played at Arrowhead. So, I mean, good luck to Iowa State. I mean, they might lose a couple more games, which would be really crazy for the Big 12. Yeah, Texas Tech, congratulations. I mean, I did not expect this. Most games that Texas Tech plays, it's like super high scoring. This is relatively low scoring. I don't think this even covered the
I think the over-under was 56.5, and it hit 55. So those over-under people know what they're doing for sure.
Wow. Well,
big win for Texas Tech, man. Big win. And Iowa State's got they got some tough games left too. I think they play at Utah. They have KU. They have K-State. I mean, it's not going to be easy the rest of the way. Also, Matt Campbell is known for going 7-5. It's still on the table for Matt Campbell to go 7-5.
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
No.
Could you imagine?
They go start 7-0 and end up 7-5. I think Texas Tech did that one year. I'm like 90% sure they did that one year.
Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
Moving on. Probably the most frustrating game K-State will probably play in like a 10-year span. Losing 24-19 at Houston. K-State can't run the ball right now. They cannot run the ball.
Which is insane to say. That is insane.
Yeah, I mean, K-State's got a top 10 rushing offense, and they've not been able to run the ball for a while now. Houston won the game by having less than 250 total yards. Horrible. K-State was a 2-touchdown favorite. They lost to a team that couldn't throw a forward pass, and yet somehow they were 12 of 12 passing. This is an inexcusable, unacceptable loss for K-State. I don't care about saying anything bad anymore. This is an unacceptable loss for K-State. Everyone should be embarrassed with this performance.
That is absolutely correct. This is the worst Big 12 conference loss in to my memory, a super long time. I mean, I can't put a feel of like what hurt worse. You know, what was a game where like this was, we came into this game thinking, okay, 8-1, then we'll have the bye week and we'll have tough 2 home games. And then we're looking to Iowa State. We completely dropped the ball, so to speak, in this game, big time. Handed it over, actually. We just handed it right over. Props to Houston for showing up, I guess, you know. I mean, 2 wins in a row for that team. 2 wins in a row. Crazy.
3 out of the last 4. I'll say this. I want to say 2 things, and then we can move on. K-State's, I said this earlier in our main podcast, K-State's gone 15 consecutive second-half drives without scoring a touchdown.
Unacceptable, dude.
Avery Johnson has 8 turnovers this season. As Brian Hanley said about another quarterback in the conference, he's going to throw it to you. You just got to catch it. And other teams are catching it right now. That's for sure.
That's for damn sure. Yep.
Moving on.
Super fun team. Love this team. Arizona State wins over Oklahoma State. Again, Oklahoma State cannot get it done. They are still searching to find their first win of the season in conference play. It's astounding. They I just feel so bad, dude. Like how
Scadaboo is insane, dude.
I can't believe it.
274 total yards on 27 touches.
You and I both. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. I think you said no. You called for the upset.
I picked Oklahoma State to win the game.
You have an apology to make to Arizona State now.
All right. Here's what I'll say. Arizona State is a lot better than everyone thought that they would be this season, including Arizona State fans. I mean, for them to be 6-2 and their over/under on wins, I think was 4, is impressive and amazing. They did not start off the year that great, in my opinion. Barely beating Texas State. They allowed Mississippi State to come back down 30. But you know what? They put together probably their best performance of the season in a rain-delayed game, winning 42-21 at Oklahoma State. Very impressive. Cam Scadaboo is insane. 27 touches for 274 yards, 3 touchdowns. That guy's an animal. If you play against them, I don't know how you stop that guy rushing or receiving. That guy's crazy. They got their quarterback back. He passed for 300 yards. They're a very, very, very talented team on offense. And, man, props to them for being 6-2. And I'm sorry for picking Oklahoma State to win this game. I don't know what I was doing. I thought Oklahoma State would somehow find a way to win at night. And they did it. And Arizona State's for real. Shout out to them, man. I'm sorry.
Well, I had Oklahoma State losing because they have not shown to stop the run. They just haven't been able. Any team that has a solid rushing offense, Oklahoma State can't figure out how to stop the run. So I thought, well, Arizona State, who do they have? Oh, they've got this beast called Scadaboo. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's actually running people over, just trucking people left and right. I'm like, oh, never mind. It's Arizona by a lot because they're going to just dominate. I did say that Oklahoma State was going to get like 10 Oklahoma State was going to get 10, Oklahoma State was going to get 10, Arizona was going to get like 33 or something. So, I mean, I think the point spread was about the same. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to try to do the math right now, but I did say that Oklahoma State was going to lose by a lot because they just can't stop the run. I don't know what's going on with that team, but 0-6, they officially cannot go bowling, right? I think that's it, right?
They have to win all 3 of their next games. They have to be 6-6.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Yep. But they're not gonna be at this point. I mean, you can't start 0-6 in the conference and expect to win your next 3. So, but right. K-State did it one time. K-State went 3-0, then went 0-6 and won their last 3. So it can happen, but not easy. Not easy. If you're Mike Gundy, I'd be thinking about retirement. I would be.
Yeah, I think not because people are going to fire him or anything like that, but I just think with the way the transfer portal and NIL and everything has happened.
He's complained about that a lot too.
This isn't the kind of environment for a coach like Mike Gundy, unfortunately. This is a totally different kind of beast, and I don't think he's adapted well to this kind of environment, which is unfortunate because I do like Mike Gundy. I think he's one of the most interesting and fun coaches to watch. And he's really, I mean, he's been with this team for over 20 years. So he's basically like the Bill Snyder of Oklahoma State, so to speak. And then not only that, but he also played, right? He was a quarterback for their team at one point, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, he's basically like Oklahoma State royalty. I mean, he's the kind of like guy for them that would probably get the field named after him. I mean, not really, but I mean, I could see Gundy Stadium, you know, like that'd be kind of a cool.
They'll have a statue of him probably up front, just like K-State does. So
yeah.
Moving on. Before we do that, though, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and tell your friends. We are so close to monetization. Please, if you're a Big 12 fan, subscribe to this channel. We are so close to 1,000 subs. Moving on here. UCF dominates Arizona. We both picked UCF to win.
What did I say though? What did I say?
What was your score prediction?
Well, my score was 33-7, and you're like, I don't have confidence in UCF's defense. That's a little crazy. And then I was like, maybe you're right. I don't know. But Arizona's offense has been atrocious, and you did actually put that in. It's actually one of the shorts that we have. If you want to go watch it, I have it posted up there. But you're like, but it could go that way because Arizona State's offense has been horrible.
Arizona's offense has been bad.
What is this? Is insane. Did they not score a touchdown? They just kicked field goals the whole time?
No, they scored a touchdown. They just went for two. I think they kicked 2 field goals and then they went for 2.
Oh, okay. All right. Still, 7.
two touchdowns actually for Noah Fafita.
Oh wow.
Tedero McMillan, 6 catches, 84 yards, 1 touchdown. They're still not getting him the ball enough. Not enough at all. They need to be force feeding the ball. So
it was, what was it? 30 something to 6 at
35-6. And shout out to them for, changing to a new quarterback for the 4th time this year. He almost throws for 300 yards. Risk.
Yeah. So Dylan much for them not being able to throw a forward pass.
300 yards.
Found somebody, Steve.
They found someone, and he threw a Hail Mary that they scored on, which is embarrassing if you are Arizona. It's absolutely embarrassing if you are Arizona. So
it's so crazy, dude. The score that at the half was what I basically predicted for the whole game. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, they're going to literally completely dominate this team, and they deserve it. UCF has had a really, really tough time in the conference play. In fact, their first win was back in August, I think, against TCU, because TCU was like their second game or third game. Yeah, it was their third game because their non-conference, for whatever reason, the schedule was made up where they played TCU, then they took a break, and then they played Florida, which was random. But it's just the way their schedule was all flipped around. But they hadn't hadn't won a conference game since TCU, so it had been a while for them to win. And so I'm just glad if there was any team that was gonna win, and it was rainy there too as well, right? I mean, it was downpouring in Central Florida in Orlando. So
I didn't see the whole game, but
I was watching it a little bit.
Harvey again dominated, 184 yards, a couple touchdowns.
Man, imagine running the ball. Imagine running the ball because it's raining. But then they also threw it. Well, it didn't rain the whole time. It did let up in the second half. But I mean, look at this, man. I mean, that's impressive. UCF, congratulations on your massive win. You definitely needed it. Sure, the bounce house was UCF crazy.
Got it. They're the home team. If you're Arizona, man, you got to be thinking, we made a big mistake hiring Brett Brennan. They were picked to be in the top 5, and they are 1-5 in conference and 3-6 overall. I know it's going to take a while to build it up, but I mean, the pieces were there, dude. The pieces were there. They should be scoring more than 12 with Fafita and McMillan, man. They just should.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be so mad if I was a Arizona fan. Moving on. I think we both picked Baylor to win this game.
Yes.
Baylor has really found something lately. I've been saying for a while, they're a good team that hasn't played well for an entire game. And they found a way to win here. They scored 17 in the 4th quarter to come back and beat TCU. Shout out to Dave Aranda for saving his job. Because we called it the hot seat bowl, man. We called it the hot seat bowl. And Dave Aranda won the game. So shout out to them. And, TCU can play some offense, but my God, they cannot play defense.
Don't look now, but Baylor's won 3 in a row, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Baylor has just won 3 in a row.
And TCU just came off of an emotional home win against Texas Tech. So
this is I'm happy for Baylor. I definitely think that you can now, after you've beaten Texas Tech, you beat TCU. Who was the other team they beat? I can't remember right. Was it Oklahoma? Everybody's beating Oklahoma, so I can Oklahoma. All right.
Oklahoma State. Yep.
So you've got one more game in Houston later down the stretch, and you've beaten all the Texas teams. So, look out for that.
They
But
could
I
go
definitely,
8-4 easily.
yeah,
Easily.
I think Baylor has found its footing. It took them a little bit. I've said this way before anybody else, but I said that loss to Colorado carried with them for a couple weeks past Colorado, which is something you cannot do. But they managed to nip it in the butt, got that huge win against Texas Tech, beat the worst team in Oklahoma State, and then they played a close game with TCU.
And they should have beaten Colorado.
They should have, yeah. And then that's why it was probably what carried them so long, is because they let that loss just carry with them. And that's, again, you cannot do that. You gotta cut it right there and be like, okay, we lost, let's move on, next game, whatever. But they just were not able to do that. But I just want to say, Dave Aranda, I think your job is secured now. I think you're doing great.
Sonny Dykes, yikes, bro.
Sonny Dykes, he's in the hot seat for sure.
Yep.
They have really, really struggled ever since that 2022 season, and it's been 2 seasons. That's not good. Both coaches had struggled, since their glory day showings, because Baylor had that Big 12 championship. What was it? 2021. Yeah. So it's been taking a couple seasons, but Baylor, never count out Baylor. That's why I would say you could have counted them out.
They have the athletes. They have the athletes. They always have a quarterback. And Dave Aranda found a way to get a dub. So
not a lot, not a full schedule with all Big 12 teams this week, but
nope.
That doesn't mean that it wasn't exciting. It doesn't mean it wasn't eventful, because it definitely was, especially for the top half of the power rankings are now going to change a lot. It's a frustrating week for both Steve and I as K-State fans. We kind of let it all out for the children that were out there. I'm sorry. I apologize for being as vulgar as I was. I promise that if K-State loses again, I won't be as harsh or meltdown as they say.
It was just so unexpected. That's why.
It was so uncalled for. It was uncalled for, and it shouldn't have happened. K-State needs to be better. We're supposed to be better. And for all the recruits that they just submitted their commitment to K-State the week before after we beat KU, those recruits now that are committing to K-State just witnessed what we did with Houston, and that's embarrassing.
It is, but also they got to be thinking, hey, maybe I can come in and help them.
Yeah, okay.
Especially if you play defense, specifically defensive back, because K-State's pass defense has been trash all season.
If you're a kid wanting to come to K-State, I don't know if your first thing is maybe I can help them. I think your first thing is like, sheesh, what are these coaches doing? Like, do they even know what they're doing out there? Because
I don't think they're thinking that.
Maybe if they
wouldn't have committed if they didn't like the coaches. I think they're thinking maybe I can help the team. They need help on defense.
So. Maybe so.
No, you guys aren't taking him. He's a Kansas kid. He's going to come in and help us a lot.
First of all, Blackout. I don't know if you know this, but K-State leads the country in tight end touchdowns. That dude is licking his chops right now at the amount of passes that are going to be thrown to him in the end zone. Avery has favored tight end touchdowns more than any other school in the entire country. He is going to be he'll probably be the number one tight end that K-State produces. Probably. He's probably going to make like 30 touchdowns in his career at K-State. Probably in 2 or 3 seasons, he'll probably have like 30 touchdowns.
Yep. Well, Kenny.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
Click on it again. I'll let you do it.
Look at this. Look at
Read
the
it.
history of
Read it.
University of Houston athletics. Kenny, you are a dipshit. Look at the history of University of Houston athletics, a rich history of success in college sports. Oh, you just mean like in basketball or something? Like Houston's good at basketball.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Their football's been good.
I'm just kidding. But I'm just looking at like what you did last year when you came to K-State last year.
Well, they had a new coach.
I don't care. The players, did you get all new players?
That's true.
Let's take a look at what they did last year against K-State.
I mean, they went 12-2 a couple years ago, 13-1.
They were not in the Big 12 conference 2 years ago.
No, they were not. That's true. That's true. But they do have.
When they played K-State last year, they lost 41-0. And I'm the dipshit. Excuse me.
They won 11 conference championships.
You lost 41-0 when you played K-State last year, just a year ago.
Yeah, well, new coach.
You didn't score for 2 games in a row, and I'm the dipshit.
I honestly think Coach Prime. There's a better chance of Coach Prime leaving than Colorado getting our tight end from us. So,
well,
way better. That's
obvious. Yeah,
it's blatantly obvious, Kenny.
It's blatantly obvious.
All right.
No, listen, I'm not making excuses as to why K-State didn't win. I mean, we lost, but we lost to a bad team. Don't tell me Houston's a good team. They're not. All the stats show it. We pulled up the stats. We pulled up the paper. Go back in the show and show the metrics of how K-State stacked up against Houston. We even pulled it up in the previous show, in our pregame show, to show you that K-State was supposed to win this 87% of the time by 2 touchdowns. That's how bad that team is against K-State. Again, not saying that K-State didn't play like shit, because they did, but don't lie to me and say that Houston's a good team, because they're not. It's just K-State played. They lost to a bad team because K-State didn't want to. I guess they just didn't show up that day. So it is what it is. I'm not going to be picking K-State to dominate another team for the rest of the season. Granted, there's only 3 more games in the season, but this game lost my confidence completely. Like in K-State, I'm going
to pick them to win the next 2, but I'm not going to pick them to beat Iowa State unless something changes.
That's literally what I said earlier in the show. I'll pick them to win, but my confidence and my trust in them dominating and winning securely is out the window. I don't think these coaches are competent enough to know how to start and finish a game and like go the distance. It always ends up being the case where we start out flat and then we somehow figure it out in the second half or pick it up. And
they've not done that 2 weeks in a row.
We haven't done that in 2 weeks in a row. We did it. We struggled with Colorado. We struggled with West Virginia. We struggled with Arizona in the first quarter. We struggled with Oklahoma State in the first quarter and a half. I mean, we were down in all those games. We allow these teams to go and score in the first quarter every single game. Yeah, and it's frustrating.
K-State's been losing every single game, and they found a way. Honestly, maybe we should maybe we should give the coaches some props that we're 7-2, considering we've been losing in every game and still find a way to win most of them. So,
but you could argue that that's the coach's fault for not preparing them early.
True.
That we have to keep calling these damn audibles halfway through the game. That's frustrating. No, I'm not saying that Houston isn't improving. Of course they're improving. Of course they've got one of the best.
They're ahead of where they need. They're ahead of schedule. Let's be honest.
I've said this last. I said this last show. I said, don't look now, but in 3 years, Houston is going to be that team if Willie Fritz sticks around. Willie Fritz has been that coach that has turned around every single program he's been in. Go look at his history. He has made every program a winning program when he starts there and leaves. It's not a surprise to me that they're better than they were last year. You know, Dana Holgerson is like the opposite of Willie Fritz. He knows how to make every program look worse and lose. Like he brings programs down. Willie Fritz builds them up. So I'm saying they're ahead of schedule. I said in about 2 or 3 years from now, they will be amongst the top half of the Big 12. Mark my words. If he sticks around.
Yep. All right. Well, there's only one last thing to say, Kenny. And then before we do that, though, we'll have our Big 12 Power Rankings on Tuesday at 4:30. We'll also give our picks for Week 11 on Tuesday at 4:30. We're going to have a special show possibly tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the K-State basketball season and maybe even talk about the rest of the Big 12 as well for basketball, because basketball is already here, man. It's here. And the regular season starts this week. And, KU fans got to be happy about that.
Yep. Of course. Yeah, I hate the excuses. I'll just say that.
I hate losing more than I like winning. And then
that's for dang sure. And especially when you lose to a team that you're supposed to win. That's what hurts the most. But yeah, with all that being said, again, I apologize for my
Don't apologize.
Well, I'm just saying I could have handled it a little bit better, but I wanted to. I was a little expressive this episode. I'll say that. And yeah, I let my emotions get the best of me sometimes, Steve.
It's happened to me many times.
Emotions get. I'm a human being, but this is why you guys come to KSU. We're raw here. Okay, we don't have a script. Okay, we don't have a script that we're reading. We don't have writers for the show. We
kind of have an outline, but we kind of honestly just go.
We speak from the heart. We use our brains. Okay, we love the interactions with the chat. In fact, you guys make this show a lot more enjoyable and a lot more fun for us when you guys get on here and talk with us and stuff like that. It's a blast, and we just want you guys to continue to support our show as we continue to give you guys these spicy shows, give you the entertainment that you so desperately want every Tuesday and every Sunday. And of course, if you're watching the just the video lives afterwards, of course, that as well. But yeah, keep subscribing, sharing the video. If you're getting any sort of entertainment off this, if this is at all fun for you, continue to share it and grow this channel. We really do appreciate it. And with all that being said, there's only one last thing to say, and that is go Cats.
Yeah, go Cats. And thanks for watching. And please get all your friends and family members and everyone to subscribe. Yes, and like Kenny said, go Cats, baby.
Go Cats.
Yeah,